Dushyant Sridhar, very well-known Vedic speaker, someone who has commented on this issue as well, joins me live. Dushyant, good evening. Thanks for your time here on India Today and on 5 Live. My first question to you is on the specific case that has, made this issue enter the headlines in such an angry way, Dushyant, about the prasadam in the Tirupati temple being adulterated with, with beef fat and lard and those kinds of things. Who do you blame for that kind of thing happening? Do you think that government control is at the heart of what has happened here?
Namaskaram, Shiv. Namaskaram to the viewers of India Today. The blame is on all of us, Shiv. Because pinning it on just one person, one government is not enough. All these decades, we have let the government control the temples. This wouldn't have happened to any other community. So we are also partakers. When Bhishma was a mute spectator, when Draupadi was humiliated, he too had to sleep on the bed of arrows. He did no harm to Draupadi, but he was a mute spectator. So are we. We are mute spectators when religious places of worship, especially of the Hindu religion, is under the control of the government. So when it is under the control of the government, such things are bound to happen, not because of the mistrust, because the government has no business to be in temples. Point number one. Yeah. And point number two, some people do raise this issue. Is this about vegetarians and non-vegetarians? Absolutely not. The Constitution gives the right to an individual to choose what they want to eat. This is not about the interference in somebody's food habits. It's about following the rules of this temple, which goes on Vaikhanasa Agama. The Tirupati Tirumala temple, I'm sure your viewers should know that it follows the Vaikhanasa Agama. And Vaikhanasa Agama has a set of principles governing it as to how puja should be done, what prasadam should be done. And there is a document called as Tirumalai Olugu, which has been written for the last 1,000 years, stating as to what are the practices, what are the donations given by different kings. It also talks about prasadam. You'll be surprised, Shiv, we can't even use chili. Largely in temples governed by agamas, we can use only pepper. We can't use oil. Such is the intricacy of making prasadam. And here we are seeing that there are traces of fish oil, traces of beef. Is this something which is an orchestrated attack on the religion? Because no person who is true to his or her consciousness would ever want to attack the belief system of another person, fellow citizen in this country. And if this has happened under the watch of the government, this is where the government comes under the control. If it has happened under the watch of the government, then the government should take responsibility rather than the blame game which is happening now. At the end of the day, I'm sure, Shiv, I'm not being pessimistic. Nobody is going to be court-martialed. Nobody is going to be punished. True. And Hindus are going to be affected the way they have been affected all these years.
No, I share your skepticism as far as, accountability and whether actual change will happen. I'm sorry to say I definitely share your skepticism, Dushyant, on that fact. But just to clarify one point, are you saying that you think that, that this is, that there is something insidious about what's going on, something deliberate about what's going on, or could it be some kind of logistical quality control issue, something more mundane? I mean, equally unforgivable, but something more mundane. What do you think?
In chemistry, in the laboratory that any chemistry student handles, there is a process called titration. And no single value endpoint is noted. So there is always something called as a concurrent titer value. So I firmly believe as a student of science that there should be multiple tests and multiple sampling which is to be done. So to even confirm. So if people have a disbelief in a certain laboratory in a certain state, to clear the qualms, I think it can go to another laboratory, another state. But the point is, if going by when we don't trust our very own agencies, then what do we trust on? So if a central agency, which is headquartered in Gujarat, gives you this particular report, at the outset, we have to believe the report, unless and until there is another report which is equally done, which is absolutely diametrically opposite to what is stated in the report. So going by the report, it affects the sentiments of the Hindus. And one more thing that you did ask, in the last 5 years, when the previous government in Andhra Pradesh was in the helm of affairs, there were multiple factual information that were also corroborated, stating about the rise of other places of worship in and around the Tirumala hill. See, again, as a country, I never say that this is the Hindu area, that's a Muslim area. That's not my argument.
Yeah.
But going by the very information that we receive, why sudden uprise in the other places of worship? If it is one or two, it is fine. There are reports which suggest there are many. And there were questions also about the declaration given by the previous sitting chief minister, Sri Jagan Mohan Reddy, at that point in time, because he is known to be a person who follows the Christianity as his religion. And it is mandated that a person who comes from another religion should give a declaration that I believe in Venkateshwara, I believe in the temple practices. And I've heard, I'm not sure, the allegations that he has not given such a declaration. So all these do give doubts in the minds of people. I'm not blaming it on one person. Him belonging to another religion doesn't matter to me at all. He's free to practice. But all these questions do raise, and these questions, Shiv, to be very particular, were there since his father's days as well. Sri Rajashekara Reddy's adherence to Christianity and thereby some actions in Tirumala, Tirupati, were also some questions raised. And today when the Prasadam has such a report coming, I'm sure people will want to connect the dots and create a picture out of it. So to make things clear, I feel that there should be a very unbiased probe, probably monitored by a central agency again, or a court, to decide what is really happening. Otherwise, it affects the sentiments of Hindus, because people across the nation and people across the globe visit Tirumala, Tirupati. It is no normal temple that we see in the street corner. It is Tirupati. I can't give an equivalent for other religions. It would be wrong, but this is a very important shrine for Hindus across the world. And if this is the allegation, it does hurt the sentiments.
And you know, you're right, because the very grave charges that are being made, you know, people who are sort of drawing a pattern around the many decisions that have been taken appear to suggest that there is something insidious going on. Jagan Mohan Reddy has officially and categorically denied any of these allegations. He's also put out information into the public domain to support his categorical denial that there was any malified or that this information is actually accurate. This is an ongoing story. It's a story in motion, as I call it. But Dushyanth, one final question is, like you rightly said, this isn't no temple is ordinary, but you know, among temples, the Tirupati temple is perhaps one of the most well-known, one of the most regarded in terms of the millions of devotees who visit from all over the world every single day. Given that, and given the seriousness of the what this report brings forward, you cannot think of anything worse for ardent devotees than what this report suggests. And given that, Dushyanth, do you think this could be some kind of a tipping point as far as government control of temples is concerned? Or do you think ultimately it will be a firestorm for a few days and then devout Hindus too will just go back to normal?
Very quickly, you did say about the significance of Tirumala Tirupati. See, in Rigveda, there is a Rik. Arai kane vikate girim gaccha sadanve shirim bitasya chebishtve chatayamasi. The very mantra points to the significance of Tirumala Tirupati. So in the Rigveda, this mountain finds mention. There is mention in many Puranas, Tamil ancient literature, all the Kirtanas, plenty of Kavya written. So it's an important temple, no doubt.
Yeah.
Coming to, yes, this is going to be, see, 2 weeks back, I was very much in the India Today discussing about the Tiruchendurai temple in Tamil Nadu, which is 1,500 years old, which the Waqf board says it belongs to us. Last week, I was on your very channel discussing about the stone pelting in Ganesh Chaturthi procession.
Correct.
This week, I am talking about the adulteration that is allegedly said to have happened in the prasadam of the very famous Tirumala Tirupati. Like how there was no action on week 1 and 2, there will be no action on this as well. So we will be meeting on another attack on the Hindu religious beliefs the next week. Till then, I think I have to wait for my conversation with you, Shiv.
Dushyant Sridhar, always a pleasure. Thank you very much for joining us with your insights on this story.